back to Atypical Talk. This is a podcast where we have conversations that illuminate the intersection of faith, culture, and the common spaces of our humanity. I'm Abby.
I'm Joel.
I'm Kenton.
And we're going to be talking about families here in a little bit. So I wanted to ask, if you were on a trivia game show, what family member, dead or alive, would you want as your one lifeline and why? Kenton, you want to start?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it was kind of hard to decide, but just if it's probably the kind of trivia or game shows that I might be on, maybe they're like history related or something like that. So I feel like if I was going to be stumped or on a game show like that, I would have called my father because he was just very well educated in all of those things. And I can't think of another game show I would be on where I would need a lifeline or something like that. I know Lifeline's probably trademarked for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Probably is, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Otherwise, I'd probably be on like Ninja Warrior and fail, but you don't need. That's not really trivia. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd probably go with my mother-in-law, Linda, because she is really smart, but she also listens to NPR all the time, and she's up on the news and
current events,
but also she's always asking me, hey, I heard about this new movie. What do you think about this? Or have you seen this yet? Because she's sort of up on culture. So like pop culture and current events, I would probably go with Linda.
But Joel's on like, probably his game show is going to be like music related or something like that.
Yeah.
So
then it might be Chris.
It would be Chris if it was more music related.
Yeah.
Right?
he's calling himself.
Yeah.
He's just
If
going
only.
to, let me ring myself here real quick.
Yeah.
You, Abby?
I would choose my grandpa. So he, growing up, we would be sitting there watching Jeopardy. He'd be reading a book, and he'd be answering the questions as he's reading. My grandma would get so annoyed with him. She'd be like, you're reading. You're not even paying attention. How are you knowing these answers? Yeah. But he read like all different types of books. There wasn't just like one genre that he liked. So he knew so much, various knowledge and stuff. Yeah.
People from the age of the crossword were smarter. That's all I'm saying.
That's true.
They didn't have AI answering, and they did a crossword every single day.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said about a time before algorithms drew our attention to very specific things we were niche interested in. Because someone like from your grandfather's generation, like they just had random general knowledge that I'm afraid we won't have the same way because we're drawn towards very specific niche things that we already like. And we don't know the general knowledge around.
No, that's not me. I like all things.
Yeah.
I like to learn about everything and this and that. And
yeah, but your phone's only pointing you towards the things you already really like.
Just in general.
Yeah. But then you get sucked into rabbit holes and you're going down, 3 hours into one specific topic about, the person who invented butter or something, crazy stuff like that. But it's very, very interesting. So our first topic today is a Relevant magazine article titled "A Majority of Gen Z Has Gone No Contact with a Friend or Family Member." A recent survey of 2,000 adults found that a striking 60% of Gen Z respondents were no contact with a friend or family member in the past year, significantly higher than millennials, 50%, Gen X, 38%, and baby boomers, 20%. Overall, 38% of Americans reported cutting someone off in the last year, signaling that this once extreme measure has become increasingly mainstream. The top reasons cited were feeling disrespected, negative impacts on mental health, and the other person being too negative. Experts are raising concerns about this growing trend. Dr. Nicole Benders-Hadi of Talkspace noted that avoiding relationship challenges can make it harder to sustain meaningful connections over time and may contribute to greater loneliness. Psychotherapist John Poles has observed more young adults cutting off parents in his practice, describing Gen Z as conflict avoidant and having a low tolerance for poor behavior, while also noting that parents often share responsibility by being unwilling to compromise or take ownership. While professionals agree that going no contact is sometimes genuinely necessary, particularly in abusive or unsafe relationships, there is growing debate about whether it is being used as a first resort rather than a last one. The survey found that 73% of Americans instinctively distance themselves rather than communicate through relationship problems, and more than a third have blocked someone on social media in the past year. So, I wanted to kind of talk about this in the aspect of Christianity. Do you guys think it's unchristian to go no contact with someone? Not including, situations where it's abusive or extreme, but what's your guys' thoughts on that?
Oh, I have so many thoughts because we all put the fun in dysfunctional family one way or another, right? I have a hard time just going like really strong line on it's Christian or unchristian to do so, because I think like the article talks about, there's just different degrees to this. But I am bent towards, I do see a trend where it's becoming the first bullet in the gun to do this instead of maybe a last resort. Mm-hmm. And I'm concerned that possibly, along with some of the experts that are interviewed in the article, that it is hindering and not giving us the muscle to deal with the ordinary disagreements and the ordinary annoyances and just dealing with difficult people that we have to in life. I think that there's should be a long distance and lots of different steps taken between this person. I feel like they're not very respectful, or they're not very trustworthy, or they've caused me some anxiety, to you dead to me. I think there's there should be a lot of distance in between those two things. And I just see this in talking to people, counseling people all the time when these kind of issues come up. In a way that we're trying to protect ourselves, I do think we shortchange ourselves from just some general resiliency that we need to walk through life and deal with people that are annoying or we don't naturally connect with. And then we don't have a tolerance for sitting around a table with somebody who might just see things differently than we do, or have come to a different conclusion than we do. If we don't give ourselves those low stakes general, people can be awkward because we're awkward muscles that we need to build, then it's going to be easier to walk away from people. It's going to be harder to ever sit down with somebody not knowing who they voted for, what they think about this, dealing with, oh, that was weird, instead of, I never want to go back into that situation again because that was weird. Mm-hmm. And so I'm a little bit in the middle on this, to where I think that, yes, if there's, abuse, and yes, if there's been systemic over and over again, disrespect, and a place where you are mentally unwell because of the relationship, I think that, yes, that is totally valid, at least for a season, to cut off ties and to go no contact. But in practice, I see this being pulled out way too quick, and it's way too, it's like your first or second resort, instead of being like, okay, I've tried this, what should I do now? Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I don't want to draw the line saying Christian or non-Christian, because there's so much variance to what people have experienced. But I do think that this should be more of a last resort than hey, it's the new thing that we should all be doing, just to cut people off when things get awkward or hard, or they're disagreeable, or I don't enjoy spending time with them.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Kenton?
I hope that this is a trend that is in decline, because I've seen some research recently, some research that you can look up that I don't have offhand.
Oh, people are saying research.
I know, people are saying, but like the Pew Research Institute, did some things about people returning, like young adults returning to church, to faith, and faith in general. There are some things about just people searching for connection with, so they're just more involved in group activities, not just faith communities, but just like seeking out actual community. And all that to say, I'm just hoping that, I think some of this comes from a world of chronic onlineness, because it's just so easy to either, one, surround yourself with people who validate your feelings about this, that, or the other, or validate your feelings about your family specifically, or just the ease of being able to, quote unquote, cancel someone or block them online has trickled into blocking them in the real world. Because it's easy to block somebody online who you maybe don't even know, so you don't have to have a relationship with them ongoing forever, but family is always there in some way, so it is harder to it's remove
not as nice
those
and
people.
Clean.
And I think it's easier to just cut out fully. and all of that way. So I'm hoping that this is a trend that maybe will begin to decline as we see, data trending back towards people wanting community. Mm-hmm. And I know, like you said, the dysfunctionality of every family exists, and there's always going to be things you disagree, don't agree, that, are the small things that I worry about when I see people just removing people from their life. But
and I didn't think about that connection with just how being online so much we could think that we can just hop this trend over to our physical interactions as well. But what I find to be like, maybe not worrisome, but like something that I see play out sometimes is that people love the idea of community. And they say that it is a value to like be with people and other types of people to support each other. But then they get into it and it's costly and it's annoying and people are weird and they're not like you. And so I sometimes think that people, they have this, I think, God-given desire for community, but then they get into it and it's not simple. It's work. Mm-hmm. And it's not something that is stress-free. It's actually something that can bring levels of stress because, this person said this one thing and how they going to respond to this, and I don't agree with that. How do I talk about that? Mm-hmm. And then we just move away from it instead of leaning more into it. And that's where I just want to encourage us to be people that lean into the awkwardness, that it's actually good for us to live with that low-grade fever of a little bit of awkwardness with people instead of separating ourselves or just looking for this elusive, imaginary utopian of people that are all just like me. And then we kill something that's good because we're looking for perfect. And perfect does not exist. Just start looking in the mirror and you'll start to realize that. But it's actually a good muscle for us to grow, to be with people that we actually disagree with. Mm-hmm. Because I think the longer that we just long for everything to be same and sameness, we won't actually find community and we won't grow the muscles we need to be resilient and deal with people in the workplace and to deal with people in lots of different environments. And so, we all long for community, and like the Pew Research is saying that people are longing for more real, authentic relationships. But I think it needs to come with a warning on the box saying that it's awkward and you're going to run into people that you disagree with, and some views that they hold you might find to be abhorrent. And we need to learn to still walk with each other and find common ground and deal with those hurts and inconveniences and those small offenses, instead of just being like, well, I tried it. You're canceled, you're blocked, I'm moving on. Because I don't think that actually delivers what we want it to in our lives. Because community's messy, because we're messy and complicated. But it's something we need. And just going to hit the easy button to cut people off, it's a scary thing to think of what it will create in our society if we just keep moving in that direction to trend more towards more no contact and cutting people off instead of learning from each other and dealing with each other and working together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Our next topic today, it's a Medical News Today article titled, "Can 36 minutes of specially tuned music reset an anxious brain?" A new study published in PLOS Mental Health found that specially designed music embedded with auditory beat stimulation, ABS, may provide significant relief from anxiety. ABS uses rhythmic sound pulses to gradually shift the brain from a stress state to a relaxed one, a process called the ISO principle, where the music first matches a person's elevated heart rate and then slowly guides it to a calmer rhythm. Researchers from multiple universities in the UK and Canada tested this on 144 adults already taking anti-anxiety medication, comparing different listening durations against a pink noise control group. The results revealed a clear dose-response relationship. Those who listened for 24 minutes experienced the strongest overall reduction in anxiety, while 36 minutes produced peak improvements in mood and a larger drop in negative feelings. Participants also reported less irritability, jitterness, and emotional distress. Notably, the consistent outperformances of ABS music over pink noise suggest the benefits go beyond simple distraction, pointing to a genuine shift in brain state. However, experts caution that ABS music is not a replacement for traditional therapy or medication. Think of it more like a rescue inhaler that eases acute symptoms without addressing root causes. Unlike personal playlist listening, this intervention is carefully calibrated and dose controlled. Researchers also note limitations including a narrow sample, no long-term follow-up, and difficulty isolating whether results stem from the ABS, the music, or both, calling for further studies with broader populations and objective brain measurements. So I had never heard of using the ABS. Like, I thought it was really cool, like matching the beat to your heart rate and slowing it down, all of that. But do you guys feel like music helps you when you're anxious?
Well, I've been telling you guys for a while that it's about minute 34 in any Goose song that it really takes off.
Okay.
And it really soothes your soul.
Yeah.
So long-form jam music.
He has actually
ABS
said
is all over it.
Sure.
Every Grateful Dead song.
Yes. Minute 33. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it really starts to get there. It comes into focus. And then it calms your soul.
Yeah.
That's how that works? Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know that. I guess it just depends. I mean, it's so dependent too, and as the little caveats at the bottom of everything that Abby read, it's so dependent on just what kind of mood I'm in or anybody's in, or what kind of anxiety they're really dealing with at the time. I think, as somebody who struggles with anxiety, it is completely dependent on just what that anxiety looks like for me in the day, whether music soothes that or not, I guess. And it also is dependent on what kind of music. Some days it might be chill music. Some days I might need like more of a distraction, and I might need like
Screamo?
Yeah, Screamo. Like I need that mid-2000s Screamo, dude.
I remember I was in high school and I had like a boombox in my
Yeah,
room.
baby.
Yeah, like big speakers or whatever. But I just got Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon, their seminal work on compact disc, CD for you guys that are, Gen Z and don't even know what that is. But anyway, I got it, and there's I was listening to it with like the lights off in my room, just trying to like listen to it, and there's a part that I remember getting so freaked out while I was listening. I'm like, it was the most anxiety-inducing thing I've ever had, is like being like home alone, listening to music really loud, the lights out, and I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to hell right now. Yeah. Really terrifying. So like, there's music that can like make you feel euphoria and joy and bliss, and then there's music that can make you feel like you're being chased by demons, probably.
And there's just so much about like, when it comes to the music, reading this article and looking more into this, I don't know if you've stumbled across those on like Instagram, but there's always, I feel like I get ads for this, that, or the other app that's like, listen to this music for 5 minutes. And it is kind of this thing where it's supposed to like trick your brain and kind of make you focus on something else, basically, is what helps soothe your anxiety.
Is this the same kind of thinking of, was it ASMR?
No,
You're doing great, baby.
Disgusting.
You're great, baby boy.
Anyway, I hope not. But maybe.
Talk to me like I'm a 6-year-old who's crying. Oh, baby, you're so great.
I'm gonna have to put content warning on this episode. This is terrible.
This is awful. No, well, I mean, I don't know. Anyway, what I was trying to say was that like anxiety rescue inhaler like 101 is just like deep breathing.
Yeah.
And it really is and can be euphoric, like to just truly take deep breaths. Like you can feel your brain kind of like release that feeling. And so to some extent, I like the caveats at the bottom because I'm like, is this just a distraction?
Yeah.
Because really, ultimately, like if you can distract yourself for 5 minutes with something else,
really good.
it can really just pivot your anxiety, at least, my anxiety. And again, it's dependent on the person, but some days, if I'm just a little anxious and I can get distracted for 5 minutes, it may go away.
Yeah. And sometimes I wonder if it's just tuning out the other noise.
Yeah,
like if you're in a busy place and you put your headphones in and listen to music, like that'll help your anxiety go down because you can't hear everything else that's happening.
You also don't have to talk to anybody when you have headphones.
Yeah.
You got that people anxiety. You're just like,
Yep. Yeah. So I just want to look more into this and, understand it a little bit better because like Joel was saying, like it also depends on the type of music because there's so much music that it's specifically designed to make you stressed out or make you like a lot of movie soundtracks and stuff can make you really anxious because of however it sounds for that specific scene. So yeah,
or
it's
ASMR,
really
I guess.
Yep.
I guess we can.
That's about right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, back to our next question. What was the first concert you attended?
Let's see. I'm sure it was some, and I don't mean this derogatory. I'm sorry. I'm sure it was some weird Christian concert of some kind or other. I was on the podcast a long time ago now. It feels like when we talked about like Acquire the Fire. It was probably something like that.
A youth event.
If you want to go back and listen to that podcast, do it and watch that documentary. Is that Shiny Happy People? Was that what that was?
Yeah, season 2 of Shiny
season
Happy.
2. Okay.
Yeah.
Holy Teenage Wars.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, check that out. But I'm sure it was something like that that probably did not make me feel relaxed in any way at all. So, or anxiety free.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. I don't remember, but most of my you know what? It might have been the Gaither vocal band.
That's
which
even
is
better.
Even more of a throwback for us.
Even more traumatic.
For us deep Christian people.
So funny. Mine was it wasn't Winter Jam, but it was like a Winter Jam where it was like a bunch of artists coming together. But Mercy Me was Mercy Me was the headliner for it.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. And that was
Joel's
like
favorite song.
growing up, that was like my favorite Christian band. So it was a great way to start.
More of a Third Day guy myself, but
that was my brother's favorite. Yeah.
well, actually, Creed.
Same thing.
It is. It really is.
Yeah. So for me, there's like two concerts that I think happened really close together. One of them was seeing the band Skillet at the Eastern High School.
Yeah, baby.
Cafeteriatorium.
That's funny. Oh
and I remember thinking it blew my mind.
Yeah.
They played at Eastern High School's like cafegimatorium situation.
About that.
So I remember that blew my mind. But like right after that, there was this music festival called World Pulse Fest that was only about an hour and a half away. Bunch of artists, like all day music thing. And the Newsboys were headlining. And it just blew my mind because like the drummer was in this thing. He was flipping upside down, doing a drum solo.
Anxiety.
Talked about breakfast not being served in hell. I mean, learn how to shine and entertain angels, like all the things.
But before...
It was formative. It was very formative.
But
before God's Not Dead.
It was before that. It was
Peter Furler.
The bald guy, the bald white guy who was the lead singer back then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not where we're headed next.
Yeah.
Yep. Our next topic is actually about Newsboys. It's a religion news article titled Newsboys Co-Founder Sues Julie Roys, World Vision, and Rival Christian Concert Promoters. In June of last year, the Roys report released findings from a 2.5-year investigation accusing Michael Tate, former DC Talk member and longtime Newsboys frontman, of sexually assaulting and grooming multiple young men, with allegations dating back to 2004. 3 men separately claimed that Tate befriended them through the Christian music circuit, used alcohol and manipulation to gain their trust, and then sexually assaulted them. Tate stepped down from the Newsboys in January of 2025. Now, Wes Campbell, co-founder of the Newsboys and owner of a concert promotion company called Thriving Children Advocates, TCA, filed a federal lawsuit on April 17, 2026, alleging that rival Christian concert promoters, journalists, and charities conspired to destroy his business. Campbell claims his company and the Newsboys ministry have been ruined by a coordinated anti-competitive campaign. Though Tate has since admitted to living a double life involving drug use and unwanted sexual advances, Campbell says he and the band were deceived by Tate and had no knowledge of his behavior. The lawsuit also shines a light on the broader Christian concert industry, alleging that Waterland-owned companies controlled roughly 80% of the contemporary Christian music concert market. Campbell claims TCA pioneered a model connecting Christian artists with nonprofit sponsorships, and that Waterland sought to acquire his company for $50 million before using confidential information to undermine it. Both Julie Roys and Liveco, a Waterland-owned company, have firmly denied the allegations, with Roys calling the claims baseless and Liveco pledging a vigorous defense. So, what do you guys think about this lawsuit? Do you think that Campbell's in the right filing this?
I mean, I think first off, let's just say the concert reality for Christian concerts and non, like I'm looking at you, Ticketmaster, like it's all a gross thing anyway, and manipulative and disgusting.
Yeah,
so like
all these monopolies on top of
it's all
things.
It's all a monopoly of some sort. So that whole 80% owning and all of that, I could see that easily happening. I mean, whether he should file a lawsuit or not. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I think the reality is that he's, Michael Tate was a part of the band, and if he is going to find legal trouble, of course the band is all going to suffer. Yeah. I mean, this is a part of it. You're a part of the group, and you're a part of the board of directors, if you will, of this organization because you're, the face of it. Everyone is going to suffer. I don't see the wisdom or the justice in Campbell, suing Julie Royce for bringing truth forward. I mean, it'd be more of like going after Michael Tate for all of the damages and all the things that he did that have now brought a, adverse effect on them financially and for their future livelihood. And I don't know if there's legality involved in that. I'm sure that he broke some kind of contract with his behavior. But like to come after the people that are trying to bring voice to the victims and to bring truth to a situation that was shrouded in darkness for a long time, it's in the smallest way, it's a bad look, and in a bigger way of looking at it, it's like it's unjust. And it's actually part of the reason that people like Michael Tate can be predators and take advantage of people is because there's no light in these situations and people think that they're untouchable. So I think, for me, on what I have read and what I have listened to and watched, it looks like Campbell is more trying to put a shroud of darkness on the situation to protect financial liabilities and situations more than, hey, you know what? The best disinfectant is sunlight. So let's get all the information out and let's find out all the facts and let's put it out into a court and to the court of law or court of public opinion, and people can make the decision. To me, it looks like this lawsuit is trying to stop that instead of, hey, let's actually get the truth out there, because people were hurt, people were taken advantage of, and millions of people were manipulated thinking that this guy and this band represented something that they clearly did not.
And it probably did. I mean, it's obviously going to have impact on the band side of things. I don't know his other, thriving children advocates, which first off, I would think that would mean he wouldn't want to do something like this lawsuit in general anyway. But all that to say, like, I mean, you can pretty much sue for anything if a lawyer will take it up. So like, he's saying that they're hurt by, the truth coming out. And that's, I mean, the band probably is hurt by that. But like, I don't know.
Sin has consequences.
I agree with you. Like, and 20 some years, even if they truly, I mean, they're saying they didn't know, but like, there's just so many things behind that too, where I'm like, maybe it's time to just step away for a little while
this lawsuit
and be mad at the right person here and not, this group or this Julie Royce who like helped bring all this information to light.
This lawsuit isn't going to get them more shows or anything. Like, it's not going to help.
I don't know who's advising him. Well, there's a lawyer probably advising him because this lawyer is going to make a lot of money, but like somebody needs to say, hey man, this is even worse look. Like if you want to do Newsboys 2.0, you probably shouldn't be doing this.
I don't think it's helpful to say that Christians shouldn't be able to make music and make their livelihood or make money off of that music. But what I do find to be true about this situation is how, the contemporary Christian industry, the music industry, in the church-y kind of Christian thing has, I think, kind of been embedded with empire. And it seems that instead of it being like this alternative to what the music industry is, it just kind of become a mirror of the same kind of thing. And I think maybe what we're seeing that's emblematic in the Newsboys and this situation is a little bit of an apocalypse to what's really going on with the contemporary Christian music industry. An apocalypse not meaning like the end of the world, but more of an unveiling and a revealing of what's truly going on there. And maybe one of the redemptive things that God wants to do through this situation is for us to open up our eyes and see the ways that money and success and the become idols and all these different kind of things that are negative they've sort of been painted on top of the Christian story, and they don't belong there. And hopefully God's doing some redemptive work in this to bring our attention back to the purpose of Christian art, which is to point people to Jesus and not point people to other people and look at them as these rock stars or these examples of a perfect faith, because it's just so clear that we're not seeing that.
Yep.
And so hopefully this will be something that can be cleaned up and there can be some, redemption come through.
Yeah. Well, that's it for this episode of Atypical Talk. If you have any topics or questions, you can email those to atypicaltalkpod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Atypical Talk Pod. And make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform to get updates when new episodes go live. We hope that these conversations today have helped you think wider, love deeper, and partner with God to bring the up there down here in your everyday life. Thanks for listening.